Recording. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you to our guests who are here today. I'm going to do that. All right. I'm going to have you go around and introduce yourselves. The guests will start with Hugh because you're unmuted. So just say your names, what numbers you're in, and all that. And I will start the breakouts.
My name is Hugh Jones. I'm in the scene right after the beauty shop and right before, well, it's right after the beauty shop. And I'm man washing car. If you see my credit, I'm washing the car and then I try to talk to Vanessa. Nice to meet you.
And I think Delaney is next.
Hi guys, my name is Delaney Diaz. I was in When You're Home and my big moment, not really, but Nina touches my chin like this and then you see me like walk around in the background, so yeah.
And then Isabella.
Hi, I'm Isabella Ianelli, and I was a principal dancer. I was in the first scene, which was in the Heights. I was in When You're Home with Delaney, and I was also in Carnaval del Barrio. And me and Delaney, we were hugging Nina in that scene, and it was so fun.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And then Tislar.
Hi, my name is Tislarm. I was in It Won't Be Long and Placentia Upe.
Awesome. Okay, so Eli is right now trying to set up the breakout room so we can get started. We are so excited that everyone is here. This is one of the events that we were most looking forward to pretty much like ever. And so we're just really happy that you're all here. And so, yeah, we'll get started immediately once Eli just, gets all the breakout rooms. You know how that is.
Okay. I am still getting set, so we can just start the Q&A here. Yeah, so start typing questions in chat. I'll have breakout rooms momentarily.
If you have a question, just,
Mia raised her hand, so we'll let them go first.
Hi. I'm a bit nervous because, again, I love this movie with all my heart. Don't mind the rain in the background. It's raining where I am at the moment. So, this movie means the world to me. Like, mostly when you see Abuela dying, I kind of lost my father last year.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I kind of lost my father last year, and it's very crazy how Lynn and John, they basically did the same thing how my dad passed away, which is strange in a sense. But it really hurt me, but I knew that he was with me throughout everything. So I actually have 4 questions. All of you guys can answer. This question is not towards one person in general, it's for everyone. So what was the hardest dance number to learn? Anyone can go.
I think personally for me, I was on Broadway at the time, so I wasn't a part of they rehearsed a week for each dance section. But for Placentia Upe, I got a video the night before. It was like, hey, can you, they called me at like 4 o'clock. I was like, hey, can you make it to a fitting at 5? And I was like, sure. And I was like, well, what are we doing? And they were like, we'll send you a video tonight. So I learned it the night before and came in and did it. But with doing that, I took that anxiety with me to everything I do, and just knowing that I can trust myself no matter what, how hectic the situation's how hectic the situation is, that I can trust myself and I don't have to worry about messing up or being off, and just knowing that if they called me to come in at the last minute, that they trusted me. So I would say that was stressful for me just because I was like, oh my God, I'm shooting a movie tomorrow and I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, that was my experience.
Anyone else can go next? Bella?
I would say for me, Carnaval, because, there was a lot of different groupings when we were filming that. And when I was learning it, it was a lot of choreography and it was my first thing that I learned. So I would say that was the trickiest because it was like my first time doing anything like really that professional, and it was a great experience, and it was just really challenging, but I got through it. So
Yay.
I do want to say that I forgot to mention I was in Carnaval de Barrio and fireworks, but I didn't dance. So my respect to the dancers, because you see me in Carnaval de Barrio across from Lin Manuel on the fire escape, holding a Mexican flag, and I think they edited me because I was moving too much. I was giving you like I was so excited to be there. But my respect to the dancers, because wow, they killed it.
It was straight up that one dance in Carnaval. It's just the shoulders. I don't even know how y'all can do that. Like that looks so like painful. Like I'm trying it. I'm like, ow.
Awesome. Okay, so
Yes,
if you did not
shimmy.
get assigned to a breakout room, I will do that as soon as I can. All right, open all rooms and enjoy. Um,
So I'm gonna be your like moderator. I'm gonna be like your moderator here with Isabella and Delaney. First of all, we're so happy to have you guys here. Super excited. Oh, Eli's here too. That's a bit weird, but it's okay. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and put in the chat that you have a question, or send your question in the chat, and we'll let you know.
Okay, I have a question in the chat. Well, I'll reiterate this question, but both of you, what was your favorite costume to wear? If you had multiple costumes in the show, yeah. Either of you can just shout it out.
Okay. Well, I was only in I only had like one I didn't have multiple costumes. But it was just I still have my shirt actually. I had a shirt I brought in that has stripes, like yellow on the top. It was cute. I remember I wore it to like the last day of school because I was like, ooh, in the heights. But yeah.
Mine was probably either When You're Home or Carnaval because in When You're Home, I got to wear a dress, and originally I wasn't gonna wear it, but I was like, can I like try this on? So I did, and it ended up working out, and I absolutely loved it. And in Carnaval, I was wearing these like really cute like flower yellow pants, and I was wearing a blue like teal shirt, and I really loved that costume. But I was also wearing these like gold like filas. It's like a rose gold. But sadly, those don't fit me anymore. I don't have them anymore, but that's okay. In the memory.
I remember too, it was like really, really hot. And I remember Jalen, one of the other girls who were doing the hopscotch part, she was in like jeans and like a maroon shirt. And I was so thankful that I was in a shirt and jeans and you were in a dress. So that was very
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my God. Like, oh man. But yeah.
All right, Jay. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Jai.
Yeah, sorry.
Got it. All right, you can go ahead and ask your question.
I was gonna say, my question was, what did you feel was the most challenging part of filming in the movie? Like, what was the most challenging thing you felt like you encountered?
For me, I feel like filming, it didn't feel challenging. It just felt like, I don't know, it just felt like a reward to finally being able to do what we've been rehearsing for so long. And we rehearsed in the rain one time. And I feel like it wasn't really a challenge, but if anything, maybe the end when we're all up there dancing at the top right by where you see the bridge. I guess that was a little hard because we had to like just do all the choreo together, but it was mostly fun. It didn't really feel challenging. So
For me, I would say probably location because we weren't on a movie set. We were filming all throughout Washington Heights. So that was a little bit challenging because Warner Brothers, they wanted to do it in LA, but Lynn was like, no, Washington Heights is the best place to do it. So that was a little challenging, but at the same time, like what Delaney said, she said that it wasn't really challenging. And same for me, it was more like fun. So, yeah.
Awesome. Julianne, and then we'll go to Jayla.
Hey guys, so I'm a theater major, so I want to know like what are some tips for the audition process and how did you ladies like find this opportunity? What was something you could take out of it?
So I would just say always come prepared and know what you got to do. Try your best to understand if things are confusing. You could definitely ask the casting directors for some like information to help you. That's what I would say. And also just kind of have fun and don't think about it as making the job. Book the room because, these casting directors, they all talk. And I would say, like, they can ask you to do something else, even if it's not what you auditioned for. So come prepared and do your best.
Yes, definitely everything you said. And for me, I feel like I was like, just got to do what you're good at sometimes. I could flip, but I didn't flip in the movie. It didn't matter. So it's one of my strong points, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway, just be like, okay, I could do this too if you want. But yeah, just show off what you're good at and just live it up in the room, because if they see something special, they're like, ooh, I want that in the movie or whatever you're auditioning for.
Thank you.
Jayla, and then Sarah.
My question is, who is somebody that you were most excited about meeting in the cast? Kind of.
For me, of course, it was Lynn. Oh, wow. This day when he came to the set when we were rehearsing at like the space, I remember he came down from the hill and we were like, that's Lynn. And he watched our dance and he said it was great. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. It was the best day ever. And basically everyone. I mean, everyone. I was so excited to meet, but mostly Lynn and Anthony and everyone. I don't even know. Everyone.
Yeah, I would probably say I loved to meet Lynn and Anthony. Like that was such an honor. But when I found out that the choreographer was Christopher Scott and he choreographed for Teen Beach Movie and Step Up, I was like, whoa, like I'm gonna be like dancing with him. And I was like, oh my God. But meeting everyone was such an amazing thing because I got to meet so many new people. I got to build relationships and I really loved that. So yeah, honestly, everyone.
Awesome. Sarah?
Hello. Love the movie, by the way. So my question is, when did y'all start acting? Like, how did y'all get into acting?
For me, I just grew up as a dancer. I'm a fourth generation dancer, so I've danced at my grandma's dance studio all my life. So it's mostly just been about dance. And when I started getting an agent and just auditioning, I just feel like, I guess, like I've just been acting all my life because of dance. So that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah, I started dancing when I was 3, and when I was 8, I went to LA and I got discovered by Nappy Tabs, who are the producers for World of Dance or JLo. I think you might know that. But I, yeah, and then I wanted to explore more, and I wanted to see how acting and singing would go for me. So I started doing that when I was about 5 because like I wanted to do some more when I was younger. But I really got discovered when I was 8, so yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to interrupt. We have sorry, I'm gonna ask how you pronounce your name. Iana or
Ioana,
Iana. Great.
but I go by Io, so you can call me Io. It's much easier.
All right. So if you want to just introduce yourself, say what numbers you were in, and then we'll catch you up. We'll have you. What was the question? How you got into acting?
Sure. So my name is Io, and you want to know a little bit about me, you said?
Which numbers you were in the
So
movie?
I was in the subway sequence of Pacienza Fe, and did a little bit of pre-pro.
Awesome. And then how you got into theater?
Wow, into theater in general. So I started out as a dancer first, and really didn't know all that much about musical theater, if I'm honest, other than it was something in New York that I could go see because I didn't live here at the time. And my mentor, I'm trying to make it short, my mentor in Miami, her name is Mia Michaels. If you guys are dancers, you probably know who she is. She basically led me through a whole plethora of jobs, from commercial to film to theater. And so I started to see other things and other areas, I should say, outside of what I was focusing on, which was more of a concert base. Then I came to NYU, and when I came to NYU, I met a bunch of people in New York. And as I started to work and be in the business and do all of that, I started to get introduced to new things. And so I had a couple of dancer friends at the time that were auditioning for The Lion King, which I think was the first time that Broadway was sort of focusing on primarily using performers, or dancers, I should say, from the concert world. The choreographer was someone from the concert world. And so I think that was sort of my in, and I auditioned for, I think The Lion King might have been my first audition. And then that kind of snowballed. I was like, oh, this is great. This is really fun. And, I didn't know what I was doing, but learned as I went along, and eventually got into Wicked was my first show. I was in the original cast of that, and then sort of took on from there. That's like as short as I could make it. Sorry.
All right, Evie or Evie, go ahead.
I was just wondering about the audition process. Like, what was that like, to anyone who wants to answer?
We'll have...
Go ahead. For the movie or in general?
Either.
So the process of auditioning for me for the movie was pretty extensive. I auditioned, I'm hesitating because I'm trying to think of like what the timing of it was. My first audition, I think, was an invited audition with just a handful of us here in New York City. And my second audition was like a huge sort of callback in New York City that was also technically invited, but it felt like an open call. It was like so massive. And I just remember that we were there literally all day, from morning until very late at night. And I didn't even remember my name by the end of it. Like, it was just like a super extensive experience. And then I didn't hear for like a really, really long time. And I thought that I just had not booked it. And then I got the call like several weeks into the movie.
I can go. For me, I remember I got like the email from my agent, and it was January of 2019. And I remember we just did a combo, did in groups, yeah. And then I remember, I think the callback was either February or the end of January. either one. And we did the same combo, I remember that. And I didn't hear anything until, what was it, May? I was out of the mall with my friends and my mom called me. She was like, "You got the movie." And I was like, "Oh my God." It was great. Least expected thing ever. But yeah, and then we filmed it that summer, and yeah.
And I was in the same audition as Delaney, and oh my God, there were so many kids. There had to be like 300 kids. I was like, I'm not gonna get it. I'm just gonna do this for fun. I'm gonna be like, I got this, I guess. But I mean, then there was the callbacks, and I also didn't hear about it for like weeks after. And yeah, so then yeah, we started filming.
Awesome. Feel free to show any more questions out. Izzy, if you have any questions, go ahead. I'll just ask about bloopers. Everyone knows and loves them, watches them on YouTube. Are there any standout things that happened? I would say like on stage mishaps, but any fun bloopers?
No, Isabella has a big memory already. She's ready. She's ready to go.
All right, go ahead.
So, okay, so I mentioned that we were hugging Nina on top of the little, I don't know what to call it. It was like a top thing. And I remember John saying, grab his hand. And I thought he was talking to me to grab Corey's hand, who played Benny. And after we hugged Nina, I went and grabbed Corey's hand and I started walking. I was like, what is happening? And it turned out that Leslie, or Nina, she was supposed to grab his hand, and it was me like walking over like, okay. I thought it was me, so I just kept on going. I rolled with it, but it was so funny because I really just was clueless at the moment. And yeah.
I remember that happening, and everyone was laughing. Oh, it was great.
All right, anybody else?
There were some in the chat too. I'm pretty sure. I didn't get a chance to look yet, but
I don't think so. If you guys
yeah, I found one of the ones that's in the chat. I'm just gonna like reiterate it. They are asking like, how would you say it is dealing with the competitiveness of this industry and just going about the audition process with all the competitiveness? How do you keep yourself up and active within it?
I'm happy to answer that. Since I think I'm maybe the oldest person in this group, so I've been around a lot of the stress, maybe a little longer. I think that it changes with time. And what works at a certain time in my life might not work at another time, but all the usuals definitely work. The yoga and the meditating and the, journaling and all of the things to get out of your head, I think are very useful because if there are performers on this chat, I think that the competitiveness and the stress what it does is it just it internalizes, and then you have all this noise. And so the less noise you have and the more in touch you are with yourself and your sense of purpose and what brings you joy, I think, and it applies to really any business. But whenever I feel sort of erratic and like I'm searching for some sort of acceptance or anything like that, and I've lost my sense of ownership of what I do, those are my usual standbys. But currently, I would say, since we've all been in a pandemic for so long, I had forgotten that surrounding yourself with people that are cheerleaders, I think, is really important. And having a group of people that pick you up when you fall down and tell you that it's going to be okay and love you no matter what, I think is super, super, super important.
for me, especially this year, I feel like it's just knowing that you might not always get every job. And I just feel like just knowing that, just, is just in case. Yeah, it's just like a just in case sort of thing. But you should always go into every audition with, 110 million% and just go for it because that's all that matters. And maybe the people behind the table would be like, "Ooh, she'd work for maybe not this job, but this job," or you never know what could happen. Just give it
Right.
all the effort you can.
Thank you guys. All right, stick around. There's still half an hour left. Okay, I am going to switch to and room 2. All right, and then yeah, the chat, if you're in Ashley's room, I know it's not working. I'll figure it out for the next Q&A.
If you guys have Instagram, you can direct message my Instagram handle that's actually in my name, Broadway_corner. If you're in my room and you want to ask a question, you can always just direct message me on there. I'll look at it. Just because the chat isn't working.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, go on to your next room. All right, we are back with our last 2. And we have about 25 minutes here. All right. I will hang on. I'll just start us off with this question of I really love this question. It's always important. But Julianne asked tips for auditions, whether it's for film, self-tape, or live in-person theater. Just shout it out.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, there's like 3 different things. The most important thing is to prepare. So make sure that you know your sides, make sure you know your song, make sure you know what key it's in. If you guys are auditioning in person, like for a voice call, make sure you have a book. You should have a contemporary, an R&B pop song, and like a classical song. You should definitely have those 3 and then just kind of build on those, but just in case they ask to hear something else, and make sure you have 16 to 32 bars prepared. So that's just kind of the outline for like theater auditions. And then like for self-tapes now, because we're doing it in the house, you want to make sure you have like a clear background, get your ring light if you can, make sure the lighting's good. And yeah, what was the third one?
Self-tapes, live in person, and just in general, I guess.
Well, self-tapes are in general just kind of, you want to have a clear background and good lighting. And yes, the frame. But yeah, the most important thing is just be prepared. You don't want to walk into a room and not know what you're doing. They want to like they want you to walk in, they want you to feel confident. And if you're uncomfortable, they're gonna feel uncomfortable behind the table. So just make sure you go in knowing everything, knowing your stuff.
Well, he hit all the marks. The one thing I do want to add is something it took me a while to learn, is that apparently, nobody likes the attitude where you come in and, what do you want me to do? I can do anything. Yeah, I could be, homeless, or I could be, no, like they in TV and film, they like for you to know what you can represent, what you bring to the table. So it's different. It's different when you approach the audition with, this is who I am. This is what I can give you. Let me know if it works for you. I'm going to read it as such, because if you're too broad with it or try, to do whatever they want, it's seen as a weakness. And if they want to know that you're aware and you know your strengths and what you can represent. So if you could hone into that and lean into it, you'll be steps ahead of so many people.
And think of it as a way of you blessing them with your talent. That kind of helps.
All right.
Without the ugly attitude, but yes,
Yeah.
I have a question from in the chat. What is your favorite part of doing theater? Or actually, here, we'll stick the theme to In the Heights. What was your favorite part of doing In the Heights?
It taught me to love my neighborhood. It was, I wasn't sure how I felt about the neighborhood at first. I knew I wanted to live in Manhattan, but it didn't feel like Manhattan down south, but it had its own flavor to it. And I'm from Mexico. So there was a little connection, you know, seeing just people selling in the streets and carrying on. So just to give you an idea what my neighborhood is like, I walk out of my building, right in front, a car passes by pumping the loudest salsa music. There are people sitting on the steps, hanging out. It turns into an automatic party. People just start dancing and carrying on. Like, I love this neighborhood. That was my favorite part. Like, the movie was great. I love working with everybody I did, but to see Lin-Manuel vibe with the neighborhood and just show us the neighborhood that he loves was amazing. And you could tell people here love him. They adore him.
My favorite part was Paciente Faye and 96,000, just because of how it was shot and the storytelling. And like the pool scene, I thought was absolutely amazing. And just like, yeah, the storytelling of Paciente Faye, I thought was great.
Awesome. Okay. I am going to scroll through the chat. Izzy, do you want to, what was the question? That was, we have some raised hands. Evie, is it Evie or Evie? I just want to get it right.
It's Evie.
Perfect.
You're good. I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but what are Lynn and Anthony? What are they like?
Lynn is really no, Lynn is really sweet, really down to earth. He has no problem taking pictures with people, talking to people, like, and he'll crack jokes on set. He's really a lot of fun. And Anthony is the same way, approachable, funny. You don't feel lesser than, like, you always feel on the same level. And I appreciate that a lot.
I didn't get to meet Lynn, but Anthony came in at the end of one of our rehearsals, and he was super sweet and introduced himself to everybody. And then at the rap party, he threw a party for the dancers, which I thought was really nice. And like you said, I think we all, like, everyone was on the same team. We were on the same page and, like, willing to learn and grow. There was no, like, hierarchy or like, I'm a lead cast member and you're just a dancer. There was none of that. We were all in studio, like, open and willing, ready to learn. I'm just excited to be there.
So something interesting about the movie, while I was working the whole time, normally when you're in a production, they provide lunch, they bring you food. But in this production, every lunch, we had to go buy our own food. And I was mad about that for a while. Like, I was like, what kind of production is this? Come to find out, the reason why he did that was because he wanted to put money back into the neighborhood. And we were all going to these different neighborhoods in the area, pumping money into the local economy, which is a beautiful thing when you think about it. So it gives you an idea what kind of person he is. He loves his neighborhood, and anything he can do to employ people or get things going, he'll do.
Awesome, Sarah.
Sarah, I think you're the one Eli called on.
Oh, sorry about that. So my question is, how did y'all get into acting or performing?
So I was in Houston, I was doing apartment management, and I wanted to be an actor so bad in high school and college, but I got discouraged by a couple of teachers that were mean to me. And I was a pain in the ass, so I can't be completely mad at them. But so it wasn't until I was working apartments in Houston that I got booked for a play to do the lead role. And the bug bit me. And that's when I came, auditioned for the Metropolitan Opera. And I said, if I get it, I'm staying. If I get it, I'm staying. And I never went back to Houston. Tisla.
Hello? Sorry, can you hear me?
There you go.
I was like breaking up, so I'm trying to.
Oh.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I started off as a dancer. I went to, well, my sister, I'm from Brooklyn. So we would have like block parties and we're like, and the people on the block would like choreograph dances and then like we would dance in the middle of the street in like August of every year. But then when I was 10, I went to a cousin's recital and then I asked my grandma, I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. So I ended up going to high school and college for dance. And then about 6 years ago, I was trying to move to LA. A lot of things were happening. And I was like, God, why is this happening to me? And then I was getting a lot of like theater submissions from my agent. And I was like, well, how about I actually try to take this seriously? Because maybe this is why I'm supposed to stay here. So then I started training in like voice and acting. And then, yeah, things kind of just like evolved from there. But yeah, I was 25, I want to say, when I started training in acting and voice like seriously.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're really lucky because I started really late and I'm interviewing with different agents right now and management. So this is a whole new process for me. So I love hearing things like that. But
No, that's awesome. Good luck.
I feel like I started late. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, man.
I asked this question, but earlier, any bloopers? For Broadway, we usually ask like fun, like mishaps, but I would like to know some like fun standout bloopers that that happen. If any good ones come in your head.
During the Piragua scene, there were a couple times where the sidewalk was kind of crooked, so the whole Piragua thing just flipped over, and we all looked at each other, and just like Lin would look, and then he would laugh and walk away, and then all the crew people would come and scramble to pick it up, and like, we can't get him mad, don't get him angry, just but he was really cool about it. I remember that, and also when we filmed 96,000. Those were miserable rainy days. Like it wasn't cold, but it was like they were horrible. And I hate that I didn't get in the water because I would have been seen more. But I was just in the bleachers, like with my towel curled up. I remember that.
Yeah, I can't. We didn't really have. I wouldn't say. I think. Yeah, the first scene I did was at like 5 a.m. From about like 5 to 9. So everyone was, it was actually the first day of shooting. It was for It Won't Be Long Now, which they ended up cutting that dancing out. So maybe it'll come out later for director's cut. But it was like, the first day of shooting. So everyone was kind of very like, we got to get this done. And then the second day too, when I did Vicente Faye, there were like so many of us. So they were on a tight schedule. So everyone was kind of just like getting work done. So I didn't catch anything crazy. I mean, I had moments with my friends, but nothing as far as like the cast or shooting went.
Something interesting that I haven't seen anybody talk about is during Carnaval de Barrio. I don't know if you guys know who Anna Wintour is, the editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine. It's like The Devil Wears Prada is about her. Like she's like the fashion lady of the world. But like she was on set. She was there for Carnaval de Barrio for like 3 hours at least. It was her and her whole entourage just watching the camera with the directors and everything. And that's when I was like, oh my God, this is going to be huge because West Side Story is coming out with Steven Spielberg is doing West Side Story. And I guess that's the competition for awards season, depending on what happens. So once I signed a Winter, I was like, oh, this is a big deal. I was like,
how was seeing her?
Yeah, I was like, Vogue, like, Vogue. Yeah.
That's great. So I'm wondering, obviously, you mentioned West Side Story. West Side Story and In the Heights are both shows that deal a lot with like that Latin pride. And I'm wondering, how did being a part of the show really like reinstill your pride in that Latin part of you?
It was beautiful to see. So first, because I came from Texas, where it's predominantly Mexican, I didn't know a lot about Dominican culture, Puerto Rican culture. And moving to the Heights has taught me, one, how we're all the same. And I learned this in Houston with, because I'm used to I went to high school in a Mexican area. Like, white and Black people were the minority, and so I moved to Houston, and over there it's white and Black, and that's when I saw how similar we were. And I hated the language barrier because we would be so tight if it wasn't there. And so I feel the same way with Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. So it really, once I saw how similar we were and how ridiculous any divisions between us are, it made me really proud how our stories are similar and how much we relate. And it's just, it was empowering. And to see Lin-Manuel do what he does at the level that he does, it's Latin excellence. You always hear about, people being proud of who they are. You don't see that a lot in the Latin community, especially in America. So yeah, I'm proud to be part of this production. I start shaking, like it's so emotional. But yeah, it's done a lot for me.
All right. So how many takes did it typically require? Sorry, I'm reading off this. How many takes did it typically require to get the complex dance scenes, or like really any scene, done for the film? Or
A
like
lot.
average?
I would say probably at least like 10 times. Because there's like different angles, front, back, side, and then kind of they're also kind of figuring it out too. So yeah, I would say at least like 10, like at least 10 times, at least, yeah, maybe like 15 in total, if no one messed up or if everyone got if they got the right shot. But it's definitely more than 5 times.
I'm not a dancer, so I was looking down from the little fire escape where I was. They were dancing. It was so hot. I have so much respect for you guys. Y'all really went through it, and it was take after take. And we're gonna do this angle, and only the right side, and only the left. And I was just there, like, these guys are crazy. Yeah.
Awesome. Izzy, go ahead.
Yeah. How did you form new connections with the other cast members and everyone who was involved with the film? How did it feel making those connections with them?
I was new to acting, so it was really good to network with people. And it's funny because from there, we've seen each other in other productions. I did a lot of episodes of Pose. I don't know if anybody saw that. I'm all over it. FBI, different things. So it's always good to see each other in other jobs. But when the movie was released, a whole bunch of people from background and I went to the movies, and we were really loud and fun about the movie. And it was interesting to have shared those experiences. Like, you remember that day? Oh, and then you're looking for each other in the scenes, and it's fun. It's things that only people that you work with like that can understand. Like, if you've ever done theater or anything, it's like those moments that you share, the ups and the downs, the miseries and the glories, it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of to piggyback, it's like we all shared this special experience, especially now because it was released. We shot it in 2019, summer 2019. So it's like 2 years later. We all went through COVID. So we're in the movie theater watching it. Everyone's just screaming and excited to see themselves because, also feels a little bit weird, like it didn't happen because it was so long ago and so much has happened, So we're all just kind of watching it and screaming and looking to see who was in the shot and so we all have this special bond now with each other, which I think is super special. We all created this amazing movie together, and it's something that will last on for generations and people, for our families to see.
And like I said, this is my first real speaking role in a movie. So seeing myself in the movies and then in the credits, man washing car, I was crying. And then the story is so emotional. I walked out of that theater so drained, but happy. Yeah, that's why I'm so corny. I'm sorry. I know I'm real happy and everything's real amazing, but it's just, I'm doing what I love, and it's this movie, and it's just, it's just,
should. As you should.
I've got one for Hugh, actually.
Talk to me.
Hugh, you mentioned that you're not a dancer and that you've got this newfound respect for dance from watching everyone do it. Do you think that that will drive you to take up dance now?
It will, but it won't delude me to thinking that I'm as good as these other people, as Mr. Tislarm right here, because those are real dancers. But yeah, you know, and it's so funny because I did the movie. I called my mom when we recorded the scene and I was crying and all that, you know, so that once the movie came out, she went to see it. And I was like, Mom, what do you think about the movie? And I was just waiting for you're the best son in the world. I can't believe it. I'm going to tell my friends. And she was like, it was cute. I need you to take dancing classes. I want you to be like these dancers. I was like, yeah, but I was in the movie.
Wow.
She was like, yeah, but you need to be one of these dancers. I'm like, okay. Like, it's never good enough. Yeah.
So what I'm wondering what the commitment was like. So between rehearsals and filming, how long was the whole process? And then just like hours, I'm sure, were early and late. Yeah, so what was that like?
So each scene, each dance number had a week to rehearse. And then, so for me, for It Won't Be Long, we actually only had 1 day of rehearsal. And then in April, I want to say, and we shot like the beginning of June. So 2 months had went by, we learned all this choreography, and then we came back 2 months later, and they sent us like a rehearsal video, probably like 2 or 3 days before, like go over it before you come in. We had like a mini rehearsal before we shot. But most of the scenes were about from like, you start rehearsal at 9, you get out at 6. And the shoot days, I mean, my shoot day was, the first one was about like, from like 6 to 9 a.m. No, like 6 a.m. to like 12 p.m. And then the second one was about like 9 to 7. So not too crazy. But yeah, that was my experience.
So I started doing background. I'm the guy that walks back and forth in the back or pretends to have a conversation with somebody. And then we had like 17-hour days, 16-hour days. They were really, really long. And when I did my scene, I improvised my scene. And I tried to give myself as many lines as I could. We did it in English and we did it in Spanish. And, you know, I'm in the union in the Screen Actors Guild, and there's certain rules, like how important you are in the movie, depending how many lines you have. So when they told me I could, you know, well, I had no idea what I was doing. I knew I was washing a car. I knew I was going to talk to Vanessa. And then the director, John Chu, was walking by, and I'm looking at the camera. I'm a camera monster. Like, I'm looking for the camera. How can you see me? What's the best angle? It's horrible. If you see me on pose, you'll know. But so I'm looking at the camera, I'm figuring my angle out. He's walking by and he's like, okay, show me how you're going to do that scene. And I just looked at him. The other guy could have spoken, but he didn't say anything. I looked at him and I was like, get out of my way. I went up to Mr. Chu and I was like, Vanessa, wait, let me talk to you, please. And he was just like, I like that. We're going to use that. I was like, oh, okay. So, so I just gave myself as many lines as I could. I was like, this is my moment.
Yeah.
You know, but I have a huge background in improv.
And then just to like follow up, this will probably be our actually, yeah, this will be our last. Oh wait, yes, I did mean to press that. How did you keep up with your like mental health? I can't imagine it was like a 10-week rehearsal process like in theater, but like, I mean, those are really long days. How do you stay awake and stay healthy during that time?
You mentally prepare before you go in there, and take snacks with you just in case you need some like a refresher or some like energy in between. But I usually, if I have a long day like that, I'll like have a smoothie and have like a ton of bananas and peanuts and maybe a sandwich that I can like occasionally go grab and bite before lunch. And that's that helps me get through.
All right, here you have about 10 seconds.
The connections you make are everything. You have each other's back, and nap if you can. Do what you can, just get through it and be professional along the way.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Stick around.